little message for all the classy maniacs out there. The classiest dude on the tube is back, brother. And the only question I have is, what are you gonna do when Classy Mania runs wild on you?
Let these wounds forever mark your cowardice.
What's up, guys? Classy Metal here. Hopefully, I didn't run you guys away with that intro. Decided I'm going to start having a little fun with this channel in 2025. Huge thank you to Sean over at Eallic, the band Eallic, for allowing me to use their track Cruor Couture in my little amateurish intro that I put together there. Huge thank you to Eallic for allowing me to use that. Starting now, as long as that intro is played on this channel, that Bandcamp for that track will be linked up down in the description, so you guys can go check out Eallic. You guys are gonna have to bear with me. It's been a minute. It's been a few months since I've been here on the tube. For you guys out there that make videos yourselves, if you feel like I've been neglecting watching your content, I have, and don't take it personal. I just stepped away from YouTube pretty much as a whole. I needed a break, had some substantial losses in my personal life. And for those of you that don't follow me on Instagram or Facebook or that type thing, I hate the fact that I just kind of left you guys hanging. You probably didn't know where I was or what was going on, but I just needed to get away for a little while. So I'm back now, 2025. Hopefully this is a better year. Say that every year, but we're going into this optimistic this year and hoping for the best. As far as my end of the year list goes, this video is going to kind of play a bit like a collection update slash end of the year video, album of the year video. With me being a huge advocate, as are most of you watching this video, for physical media and the release of music on physical formats, I want to give the physical presentations about as much spotlight as the actual albums themselves. So I will be showing off the releases, the physical part of the releases, as well as telling you about the albums themselves. I have to put the disclaimer out there. This is my list. This is not your list. My list is probably going to be a lot different than than a lot of people's, just for the simple fact that I've been away for a bit and kind of left to my own devices, which is scary in itself. Everything that I show you guys will be linked up down in the description. Don't get worried. I'm not going to go over the top with the editing. I am going to do a few things here and there as I learn on the editor, just to make my videos a little bit more digestible for you guys watching and a little bit easier for me on this end as well. So that being said, I'm going to break these into about 5 release increments and show them that way. That way it's not just one long-winded me showing everything. It's all going to be on one video, so if you guys need to take a break, you can do that too. You have little breaks where you can go take them. So I'm going to quit rambling. Let's get into this. Let's close out 2024 with this video, and let's move on to bigger and better things. All right, at number 20, we have a thrashy death metal outfit out of Seattle, Washington. This is Noro with their 3rd full length entitled Sacrificial Solace. This was released through Carbonized Records back in June. Took me a little while to get my hands on this. I don't know why, what my deal was in the delay in picking this up, but it's been in pretty solid rotation ever since I picked it up. I love the artwork on this. Unfortunately, I'm having to battle the glare a little bit, but if you look this up, because everything's linked down there in the description, you will see the artwork itself. I will say that Carbonized threw in a band sticker and a label sticker that I kind of keep with the actual release. I just love the presentation on this. It just looks classy. So it was almost like they had me in mind when I know they didn't, when they made this. Even the lip liner and lyric sheet, I mean, that's just, I love it. I love the color scheme on it. Wanted to show that off a little bit. The disc itself looks phenomenal. I don't know how well it's going to make out with the glare, but killer presentation on this. Carbonize has just been knocking it out of the park, and it really is fitting for this particular release. Metal Archives, they have the lyrical themes of this of the band, but it comes out, I think, in this album, like in particular, they have the lyrical themes as the ills of humanity, and I really get that feeling from this particular release. I was introduced to this band, I think, through the release entitled Harbinger that Life After Death put out, and I enjoyed that one quite a bit. But this felt like a huge step up in the progression of the band. As far as the themes of the ills of humanity, it's kind of the heart of the album, especially the way that the album is structured. Tracks 3 through 5, I have them highlighted as my favorite. Bloodborne, then you have the title track, Sacrificial Solace, followed by Pleading Depths. If it's a release that you haven't checked out yet, that would be the place to start. Those 3 tracks are the heart and soul of this release, and definitely the strongest part of the release, and that will give you a good overview of the album itself. Phenomenal release there from North. Looking forward to seeing where these guys go in the future. Next up at number 19, we got a vinyl. Going to show you guys the second full length from the band Demiser. This is black and thrash metal out of South Carolina. Released, I think, on Blackout Media, and then Metal Blade jumped in and did the helped out with the actual vinyl release. This is entitled "Slave to the Sky." Killer, black and thrash. This, let me show you guys. I mean, that right there kind of encompasses. You can kind of feel the sound of the band just from that band photo there. There you have the lyric sheet. Very occult, dark themes. The very first, let's see, the tracks. "Slave to the Sky," the second track. That one almost snapped my neck off, and I knew at that point that this was an album that was going to be in pretty steady rotation. This was on Metal Blade Records. It might still be available for sale on there. I know it was on there. I saw it on their Christmas sale, and it was like $10 for the vinyl. And it's this particular variant. It's entitled "Carbureted Fire," kind of a orangey, yellowish with the red splatter in it. Killer release. Absolutely love this. I like their first album. Let me check my little cheat sheet over here. Entitled "Through the Gate Eternal," that came out back in 2021. That was a killer release in itself, but huge step forward by Demiser. Absolutely phenomenal. A couple of these guys are in a project that made it to the later on in this video as well. So killing it there down there in South Carolina. I guess over there. They're not particularly down there. Over there in South Carolina. But definitely check out Demisers, especially if you're into bands like Wraith and that type, just that black and evil thrashy sound. I think you will definitely dig Demiser. At number 18, we have some Welsh death metal. This is Cremulation with Amalgamated Assimilation. I butchered that. Amalgamated, amalgamated abomination. I can't believe I got that on the first try there. As I was saying, Welsh death metal, very grindy type of death metal. This came out back in August, and I believe it was digitally like self-released by the band. Iron Fortress Records jumped on the physical formats. What can I say about Iron Fortress Records? Man, that label has absolutely taken off in 2024. I am excited to see where they go in 2025. They have grown exponentially over the past year. I love the minimalistic kind of feel to the physical presentation on this. It matches the kind of nasty, filthy, grindy death metal that this album presents in a perfect manner. I love the fact that there's a lyric sheet to this. It has a very kind of throwback feel to it. Just another thing that Iron Fortress has knocked out of the park this year. Fighting the glare once again on the back. Not much to it, just the band photo with the track listing. It's kind of B movie B horror movie themes going on this, kind of zombie murder themes going on, as a lot of death metal does. But they absolutely kill it. Fantastic release. I think this will show up on one other person's list, perhaps, that I know, and definitely well deserving of your attention if you haven't checked that one out yet. Next up, we have a sludge metal band out of Memphis, Tennessee. This is a band that I've seen live several times. Huge advocate for this band. Um, the lyrical themes on this can get into the realm of grief and loss, and for me, it's just been super fitting. A super fitting listen for it. Just kind of scratches that itch that I've needed scratched this year. This is Autolith with their debut full length entitled Artificial Heaven. This was released back in May. Lots of albums on this list. For some reason, May was just a hotbed of albums that I've fallen in love with. This was self-released by the band. I mean, that even the artwork on the disc there with the hands reaching up for the reaching towards the heavens there, very fitting for this. It's just super emotional, hardcore tinge sludge metal. And let me show you guys the inside. Pretty standard there on the inside. You have the lyrics on this as well, so you can follow along. There's the band picture on the back. There's the band right there, Ian, also in Ritual Fog. Ritual Fog would have made this list if the physical presentations had been shipped out yet, but we're still waiting on those. So, killer release. Everything that this guy touches is absolutely phenomenal. Autolith is no different. Just super emotional. Grief-driven sludge metal with those hardcore vibes. Gets a little synthy here and there as well, but I absolutely dig it. Definitely check that one out if you guys haven't heard that. Speaking of sludge metal, this is a band that they say don't judge an album by its cover, but I think the artworks and stuff, the presentations on these albums is sometimes just as important as anything as far as grabbing your attention. This is a band that was completely new to me, and I saw this artwork. I'll show it to you guys. That's what kind of drew me in and made me want to check this out. This is Weight of the Tide with their newest release entitled What Pale Victory. This is an EP, comes in almost at 30 minutes, so I went ahead and threw it in on this video because I've given this so many spins. Kind of sludgy post-metal out of Nevada, very sludgy, not over-the-top fuzzy, if that makes sense. You get that kind of stoner rock feel going on in this. The post-metal vibes and atmospherics on this are quite prevalent as well. This was released through Undergroove Records, and they did a killer bang-up job on the physical presentation on this as well. This band has been around since 2012, and this was my introduction. I need to do some backtracking and check out some more Weight of the Tide material because I did absolutely love this quite a bit. I actually have the test pressings of this release as well, so that ought to tell you something. That it came with a poster, has the little, I don't know what you call this, the little envelope that holds the records, but it has the lyrics. I like how a lot of these bands and stuff are getting back into including the lyrics with their albums. I like to be able to follow along. Even with death metal, it's fun to follow along and listen and try to keep up with the lyrics. Kind of marbled. It was on like an Echo variant, is what they call this, but it came out phenomenal because it matched the album artwork. So killer stuff there from what Weight of the Tide, What Pale Victory. As I was saying, it's kind of doomy, sludgy, post metal, and it's definitely something that I could get into, and looking forward to checking out more of their material. At number 15, we have Roanoke with their sophomore full length entitled Ancestral Tunes. This is more sludgy doom metal. This one has a bit more death metal infused into it than some of the other sludgy stuff that I've shown up to this point. At one point in this album, they even get a little bit like funeral death doom. Track number 3, Worms of Cath Serapis. That one clocks in at over 11 minutes, I think about 11 and a half minutes, and probably my favorite track on the album. But it's only 4 tracks long, but I mean, it sinks its teeth into you and holds you hostage for those 4 tracks. I remember Ryan, Metal Viking 82, and I chatting about this album a little while back earlier in the year, and we were both kind of enamored with it at that time. Uh, Pretty much more of that kind of minimalistic physical presentation. This was released by Headsplit Records, I think back in May. I may have said that already. There was so much stuff that came out in May that I just absolutely fell in love with, and this one definitely takes the cake as one of those as well. Killer stuff. These guys are out of Salem, Oregon. I believe they used to be located in Portland. Not that it matters, but relocated. But killer stuff. If you have not heard this one, get down there in the description and check that one out immediately because it is absolutely phenomenal. Next up, we have some black metal off of Black Line Records. This is a band out of my home state here in Tennessee, but over on the east side of the state. This is Summoner Circle with their fourth full length entitled Cult. Um, Metal Archives list this band as progressive. I got it wrote down. Progressive doom, death, black, and that's kind of fitting because on their previous albums, it's kind of hard to nail them down to a particular genre or subgenre of metal. And I feel like on Cult, this band has absolutely hit their stride. They found their sound, and I absolutely love this. This is kind of a almost melodic black metal, which pretty fitting for the Black Line Records catalog. They put out a lot of stuff similar to this, as far as like the soundscapes, the presentation, despite it being in a digipack, I absolutely adore. This reminds me musically of like a melodic version of Enthroned Darkness Triumphant Era Demu Borgir, and that's a huge compliment. I mean that in an absolutely complimentary fashion. I've seen these guys live, I think 3 times now through Metal Devastation Music Fest, and they always put on a killer live show. And this album here, as I was highly anticipating it coming out, and it did not let me down. There were some big name bands that I was anticipating their physical releases this year, and I was a bit let down with. And this one was quite the opposite of that. I listened to it and I absolutely loved it. I actually have bought a few copies for friends because and introduced them to this band because I loved it so much. So killer stuff there from Summoner Circle. Hope you guys keep it up. You are absolutely knocking it out of the park. At number 13, we have a band off of the $20 Spin label, and this is one that I was a little slow checking out this year as well. It came out, I think, back in March, and it took me a couple months before I actually pulled the trigger and picked this up. And I don't have a any type of excuse of why I did so. It just took me a minute. But this is Cerus with their full length entitled Maze Envy. I believe this is their sophomore release as well. Killer stuff. It actually kind of blew me away at how much I like this. It's kind of blackened death doom is the best way I know to put this. A huge emphasis on the like black and death, but the death metal is probably in the forefront of it all. But it is a killer release, as the majority of the stuff that $20 Spin puts out. Usually, when that label releases something, there's going to be something enjoyable about it. But this is one that I enjoyed way more than I thought I was going to. Once again, lyric sheet. Absolutely love the fact that they put the lyrics in there. There's Cerus. There we go. Sorry for some of you that probably want me just running through this, but as I was saying before, the physical presentations matter so much to me that I want to show that off as well. The actual disc, I love it fits the album title, so with the maze on that. So color scheme on it's pretty solid as well. Good stuff there from Cerus. Track number 3 is an instrumental track entitled Endless Symmetry, and it feeds so well into the track number 4 entitled Labyrinth Charm. That is probably my favorite portion of the album, is that transition from track 3 into track 4. and the structure of this album, it's just aligned perfectly, I guess. It just plays. You don't want to skip through any of it. It just plays perfectly from the first track to the final track. They have everything kind of stacked and structured in a way that keeps your attention going, and I absolutely love it. I like this way more than I thought I was going to. I think some of you that might have been sleeping on this one will feel the same way. Also, I think that is one that's probably found its way into quite a few others end of the year list as well, especially being something that was released through 20 Buck Spin. I actually got a tape to show you guys at number 12. This is the band Outer Graves from Wisconsin. This is their debut full length. They had an EP that came out before this, but this is their debut full length entitled Terminal Limit. As you can gather from that artwork there, this is a band that's kind of cosmic death metal. They don't go into the lows. They're not like a band that just plays down tempo and tuned down music. They don't get too low, and it's kind of a breath of fresh air. This came out back in September. A couple of the members, well, there's one current member and one former member of the band Winterlore that is on this project as well. If you followed my channel for any amount of time, especially if you followed from the beginning, you know that Winterlore is one of those black metal bands that I absolutely fell in love with early on in the formation of this channel. I was reached out to by one of the band members that said I might be interested in checking this out. Send it to me, and I absolutely love it. Killer cosmic death metal. This is what I want. When I think of cosmic death metal, I would lean to this 10 times out of 10 before I went to something like the new Blood Incantation. I know that might draw me some hate, but that's just where I'm at. Once again, it's kind of a minimalistic style of physical presentation through Transylvanian recordings. I'm just glad that it got a physical release. I believe it was released digital for a while, and Transylvania jumped on getting this out there as far as a physical release. But definitely check this one out. If you have not heard this, you're doing yourself a huge disservice, and it is a breath of fresh air in the current death metal scene that is going on right now. At number 11, I have a band out of Finland. This is the Finnish death metal project entitled Unearthly Rights, with their full length entitled Ekdusis. Yeah, I butchered that, but you won't get any edits on me out of that one. This is another release that came out back in May. This was released through Prosthetic Records. The self-titled came out in 2021, I want to say 2020, 2021, sometime around in there through Life After Death. I have the tape of that. Absolutely love that one. I think I liked it a lot more than some of the other people did. And then this came out. I was surprised to see this one pop up on Bandcamp. I didn't even know it was coming out. Checked it out. Absolutely fell in love. It's kind of sludgy, old school. It's like an old school death metal fused with some sludge. They call themselves sludge core. I don't really get the core portion of it just too terribly much. I don't want it to turn some of you off from checking it out. It definitely has that old school death metal feel. Once again, more lyrics. There we go. There's the band photo and thank yous and stuff on the back. But these Finnish death metalers absolutely kill it. I guess these Finnish sludge corers absolutely kill it because that's what they call themselves. But killer release. I think a lot of people overlook this one. Unfortunately, this is another one. If you haven't checked out, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. And I definitely am an advocate for you checking this one out. So get down in the description, check this stuff out, and we'll jump into the top 10. Breaking into the top 10, I have another vinyl for you guys. We have Stress Angel with their sophomore full length entitled Punished by Nemesis. Their debut full length, Burning Church, was pretty phenomenal, and this feels like a continuation of that. Feels like they're a bit more seasoned on this particular release, and absolutely killer band. You would not get their soundscapes just by looking at that cover art. This is an old school sounding death metal project that sounds like it's coming out of the late 80s. It's very thrashy. It just has that, even the production on this is got that older feel going on. This was released, I think I said that already, back in March, if I didn't say it, through Dying Victims Productions and Stygian Black Hand. Stygian Black Hand, another label that's been killing it this year. They did the Horns and Hooves EP, which was absolutely phenomenal as well. But get back to Stress Angel. As I was saying, I mean, it's thrashy, old school death metal, and I swear it sounds like it came out of like maybe circa 1989, and they do it so well. Came with a pretty sizable poster. It's just got the back that I showed you guys there, that photo of the band there on the back. You have the insert, little violent looking band insert there, and then you have some band information there on the inside. I think this one is just black wax. Let me see. Got a Stygian Black Hand promotional poster that came with this as well, and it was just the presentation. Just this one is just black wax. I don't know, black wax on this one just feels like it works as a like, because in the late 80s, early 90s, you didn't have all these fancy vinyl variants, and this album will kick your teeth in, and I swear it sounds like it's coming straight out of the late 80s. Definitely check that one out if you have not done so. At number 9, we have 40 Watt Sun making a return to my list. It's been a minute. This one is entitled Little Wait, and it's been, I know the glare is butchering me trying to show that to you guys. 40 Watt Sun. The Inside Room came out back in 2011, and that has long-standingly been my favorite 40 Watt Sun. It's super heavy, super fuzzy, and they kind of got away with that on the 2 following full lengths. And Little Wait starts giving you some of that fuzz back, and I was super excited and elated to hear that when it came to it. Patrick Walker has this gift of just making you feel the emotions that he was feeling at the time that he was writing that particular track. You guys know him from the band Warning. Warning's another one of those doom metal projects that can just break your heart. 40 Watt Sun, man, they focus more on like an acoustic style from time to time, but it's just the emotions that he's able to kind of evoke is just a huge testament to his talent as a musician and as a singer. Not much to this. It's got the lyrics, but it's just white sheet there. Very fitting for the music. This was released through Fisher's Folly label. It's first time I'd heard of that particular label. This came out in September, so it was just in time for me to have all the personal loss and stuff, for me to lean on this when I needed it, and it definitely broke me more than I would like to say that it did. At number 8, a band that has been around since, I wrote it down, 2003, and I just found them this year, and I did not find them on this full length. They released an EP back in 2022 entitled Eternal Misanthropy. Yeah, sorry, I'm an idiot. Anyway, I did not know they had a full length coming out this year. I bought their EP and their previous full length and a couple of shirts. This is the Philly band Blasphemous. Killer style of black and death metal. Obviously, some of the older stuff sounds a little bit different than what they're doing today, but I absolutely love this release. This full length came out this year entitled To Lay Siege and Conquer. This was released through Adirondack Black Mass, and I'm glad that they found this band and put them out. Came out towards the end of October, so I haven't had a ton of time to spend with this, but the time that I've spent with it has been super enjoyable. Very heavy stuff, very dark, occult themed, black and death metal. No apologies from this band on this album whatsoever. The title track, To Lay Siege and Conquer, is pretty solid. Good presentation put together on the CD release through Adirondack Black Mass as well. The title track is the first track, and there's another track on here too that I think it was Spiritual Enslavement that was number 4. That's another one that I played on repeat quite a bit as well while I was at work. But killer release from Blasphemous. Super better late than never, I guess. Finding this band, glad to have this one in the collection, and glad to have found that band this year. Definitely worthy of the number 8 spot on my end of the year list. Next up, a band that probably one of my biggest surprises of the year. I was not expecting just a ton out of this release. I have their previous EP and I liked it. I didn't think it was just anything super spectacular, but this is Vile Rights at number 7 with Senescence. Yeah, sorry if I mispronounced that. This is kind of atmospheric, progressive death metal, and I absolutely love this. I've been hooked on this since it came out back in August. This is another one of those carbonized records releases. Carbonized has just absolutely killed it this year. I love the presentation of the disc on this. I definitely want to show you guys the artwork for the Vile Rights release, because it you get the feeling for the music just from that artwork. It captures what you're getting into, that kind of nautical, almost spacey / nautical theme is what I get from feeling from the music itself. Well-crafted death metal. These guys were able to craft something well beyond their years. You would think these are super seasoned older musicians just from the way that they were able to compose and structure this album. Fantastic release. Definitely, if you're into that atmospheric and progressive type sound, I would definitely pick this one up. For those of you that are head over heels for that blood incantation type stuff, definitely check out Vile Rights. Number 6, we have Shamash. We have some Swiss avant-garde black metal. This is the Maldor Chants Old Ocean, kind of revisiting their Maldor Chants. They released Hermaphrodite as far as kind of along the lines of this back in 2017. They've had some other releases in between those, but this is the second installment of the Maldoror, or however you pronounce that, Chants. Man, this album hit me. It came out October 25th, but Prosthetic Records actually got this one to me quite a bit early. Look at that artwork. And my sister passed away very beginning of October. This album came in the day of her funeral. And listening to this avant-garde kind of atmospheric style of black metal, I was hooked on this. Your Waters Are Better, Somber Mystery tracks 2 and 3. I mean, I can't. This is one that I fell in love with, probably for the wrong reasons, just because of what I was going through at the time. Once again, you have the lyric sheet on the inside, and yeah, I'm going to get emotional talking about it, but it's one that is always going to hold a place for me, just because of what this album has meant to me over the past couple of months or so. But killer. If you're into that kind of avant-garde, it does get a bit melodic, atmospheric style of black metal. If you're into Shamash, if you've heard this band before, you know what you're getting into. Killer stuff this. Definitely feels like a continuation of the Hermaphrodite Maldoror Chants EP that they put back several years ago. So good stuff there. That's number 6. We'll get into the kind of meat and potatoes, the top 5, and I'm excited for you guys to see what I've got in store. At number 5, we have the 4th full length from Italy's Cosmic Putrefaction, entitled Emerald Fires Atop the Farewell Mountains. This was released October 4th through Profound Lore Records. Very fitting to come out through Profound Lore. This sounds like and looks like something that you would see on that particular label. I love Cosmic Putrefaction. I found this band on their second full length. I want to say I think that's the one that I have the album and the shirt for, and it seems like they've gotten better every single every output that they've put out has topped the previous, if that makes any sense. Always has this kind of spacey uh, vibe going on in their artworks, very fitting of the music. You have these kind of progressive, almost atmospheric kind of sounds going on in their music. Very original sounding band. I know saying progressive and atmospheric doesn't really give you a grasp of the sound that the band puts out there, but it's kind of hard to for me personally to liken this band to another band. They have a very original sound, and that's something that I can definitely appreciate. Maybe it's just their geographical location. I don't listen apparently to a ton of releases from Italy, so maybe the fact that they're coming from somewhere else, they're able to put a flair on their music that I don't really pick up on too much here. Say listening to U.S. death metal, there might be some things that I don't hear so much here that are more prevalent in that area of the world. But that being said, killer release. If you're into that progressive style of death metal, almost dissonant at times, then I think this is something that you guys can sink your teeth into as well. Number 4, I told you guys that we would revisit a couple of the fellas from the band Demiser later on. This is Primitive Warfare with Extinction Protocol. This came out back in May. Go figure. This was released on Gods of War recordings, and I mean that's about as fitting of a label name for something like this as I can find. I mean that. Look at that artwork, that cover. That's what drew me in. I was like, man, this looks like some war metal that is going to amp me up and make me angry and make me ready to go. And it definitely does that quite well. The sound clips on this, you're under a nuclear attack. I mean, it just has a throwback sound clip vibe going on, but it is just a nasty black and death metal war metal release, and I absolutely love this. I think I know this is on some people's end of the year list that I've seen on Facebook and Instagram. I don't know about YouTube, obviously, as I was saying earlier. I haven't been checking out too many videos of the end of the year list, so I absolutely love this. This will snap your neck clean off. No surprise there with the guys from Demiser being behind this because they're so good at those riffs and those grooves almost, and they're able to play that into a black and death metal way that it is just absolutely phenomenal. Killer release from Primitive Warfare. Hopefully we get some more stuff from this project in the future. Next up, another one that surprised me that I liked it as much as I did. This is the full length, I believe, debut full length from Mortal Wound entitled The Anus of the World. Yes, they don't take themselves seriously. I'm going to start having fun on this channel, and this is very fitting for for that general sentiment, I guess. This is another album that came out back in May. This was released through Dark Descent Records, and I absolutely love this. I did not anticipate loving this as much as I did. It is sophomoric at best as far as the lyrical content and even the sound clips. But for me, this sounds like death metal that came out when I was falling in love with death metal. It has a 90s, I mean, this straight out of the mid 90s with the sound little samples and everything on this. You get the movie and stuff and the pictures in the liner here that kind of are the inspiration behind some of the sound clips and stuff that you get in this and inspirations that the band had. It's something that looking through the liners you can just follow along and it almost tells a story and you can kind of see the inspiration that the band was getting. But man, it's so much fun. It is absolutely a fun release. Some people kind of roll their eyes at some of the Maggot Stomp stuff. I know they had the demo that came out years and years ago through Maggot Stomp, but I love some of the stuff from Maggot Stomp, and I absolutely love this. If you're into like Skinless and some of those bands that were doing that back in the mid '90s and doing it well, I think you'll dig this one as well. This absolutely blew me away, and I love this way more than I ever should. So this is at number 3, Mortal Wound with the Anus of the World. At number two and number one, man, this was a battle. These two could probably have flip flop back and forth at any time throughout the year. But when I first heard number two, I was like, I don't know if I like it as much as their previous full length. And the more that I've listened to it, it keeps growing on me, and it may have surpassed their previous. This is Cryp Sermon, and once again, we're gonna battle this glare. This is Stygian Rose. Came out back in June on Dark Descent Records, so we had back-to-back Dark Descent releases. Doom metal, occult doom metal. You guys know Crypt Sermon. I mean, as far as doom metal and Dark Descent Records go, they have a sound that fits perfectly into that Dark Descent roster. They get a little bit more synthy in this album than they have in the past, but at the same time, they get a bit more demonic, a bit more evil feeling in this particular release. They have, kind of biblical and religious themes that go on throughout all of their albums, but this one just feels super dark. The Glimmers in the Underworld, I think, is the name of the track, the first track. Yeah, I mean, right from the get go, you know that you're into some dark stuff. And when you're having a tough time, as I've had throughout 2024, listening to something like this, when you're mad at the world, mad at God, mad at just the way that life is, this just hits and soothes just right. And Crypt Sermon masters at what they do. That they have not released a bad album. Ruins of Fading Light. Man, if I had to put those two side by side, this and their previous full length, Ruins of the Fading Light, it is so hard for me to pick which one I like better. Part of me wants to lean towards Ruins, but at the same time, this one has grown on me so much. It has the staying power that I keep returning to that it might overtake that one. So number 2, Crypt Sermon. You guys that have heard it, you know it's good. Unfortunately, the glare is not giving the cover art the attention that it deserves. Definitely look that one up and check out that artwork on its own. And here we go, number 1. This is I'll probably be the only person uh, that I know of that has this on their list. I just found this kind of scrolling through Bandcamp one day. I listened to it. I was hooked on the very first listen, and it has stuck with me pretty much, I guess, 5 months now, going on 6 months. This is the debut full length from the New York-based band Congelation. This is progressive, dissonant death metal. Gets a little technical, not too technical, but it has those. It definitely has the technicality in there without getting just wanky. The guitar solos on this, it is chock full of guitar solos that will absolutely blow you away, and it has this almost hopelessness feel that is you're just trapped in this just trapped under this like glacier of ice, and you're giving up hope. It's kind of the feeling that I get from this. It was released, as I said, back in July on Liminal Dread Productions. I mean, there's not much to the physical release. It looks like a CDR, one little insert there, not much to it. Back of it on the physical releases, but it doesn't need any more. The music on this one absolutely stands for itself. I think this is a breakout album. I think that this is one that people are going to continue to stumble on, continue to find, and once they do, they're going to want to hear more from this band. Congelation, you guys absolutely killed it on this. I cannot wait to hear more from you guys. Thank you so much for putting out something like this in a year that I was having like this. This absolutely just helped make my soundtrack of 2024 better. It made my year better just having something like this in it. If you have not heard this band, if you're into death metal, if you're into dissonant death metal, technical death metal, progressive death metal, check out Congelation. I cannot implore you guys enough to check this one out. I think you're going to dig it as much as I did. If not, shame on you. You have poor taste. But that is my number one for 2024, Congelation. Let's wrap this year up. I'm ready to move on to 2025. I'm excited about the year. I hope you guys are too. Hope this video has found you well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay classy, stay metal, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys very, very soon.